Hey everybody, what's going on? Got a special video today. I got to spend some time with my cousin Tristan from the YouTube channel Top Pops, and I went with them on a pop hunt in the Lime Ridge Mall in Hamilton. This was my first time doing dedicated B-roll for a video. I've done some for my own videos, but I've never had this as my only job. So it was cool to have this as my main focus, and I learned a lot by having this as my only focus for the video. And I learned some things in both the recording stages, but also in post-production with things like color grading, color correction, and also some transitions. So let's take a look at the footage we got, the things we learned from mistakes, and the things we learned from practice. There were some things I learned today from doing the actual recording part of the video, and unfortunately these are some things that I can't go back and fix because we are done the recording and Tristan has already edited the video and it's going to be going up tomorrow. So I can't go back and fix those things, but I can learn from the experience and also tell you what I did wrong so that you can learn from my mistakes. So the first thing I did wrong is that I wasn't really prepared for what was happening next. As like a dedicated camera person for this type of video, I really should have known exactly where we were going next and been ahead of the subject rather than filming from behind. This got to be a bit of an issue because getting a lot of from the back shots isn't really interesting. It doesn't really add too much to the video, whereas if I got more of the subject's face, in this situation Tristan, then that could have been a lot better. So that's one thing I learned, is to be more prepared and know exactly where we're going to be so I can be ahead of the group walking backwards rather than behind the group filming their backs. So the second thing I learned from this experience is to slow down and do more takes to get it right. There were a lot of shots in this video that I thought were really cool, but they didn't actually end up being that good because of failed executions. I'm going to show you one clip right now of me trying to film one of the Christmas trees in the mall, and I thought it was going to be a really cool shot to film the tree, pan up to the star at the top, and then go out of focus so that we could use that as a transition into the next shot. But I made a mistake in the execution of that, and when I got back I realized that it was not good, not usable, and I had to do something else. Now we managed to salvage this by using a blur effect, and that blur effect kind of mimicked what we were trying to do, but it's not as good as having a good transition in camera, so hopefully next time I will recognize that I didn't get the shot as it should have been, and then we can retake it so that it's better. Another mistake I made in this recording experience is I tried to do my first time lapse as a transition. So what I did was I set up my camera on the floor, I put it on the Gorilla Pod so that I could get a time-lapse shot of the people walking through the mall, get some good motion blur, and then use that as a transition between scenes when Tristan is moving from one store to another. I thought that in theory this was a really good idea, but in my execution there were two major things that went wrong with it. The first thing is that I should have had a longer exposure on each of the photos before stitching them together to make the time lapse. Because what we're missing with this here is you will see people walking through a frame quickly, but we don't really get that motion blur. So what we have here is just people moving quickly instead of that smooth movement of people going through the frame without being able to really even identify them as people. It would just be like moving lines going through the frame. So I think that would have been better. The second thing is that I really should have tilted the camera up a little bit more, because I would say that there is too much floor in the shot, and that kind of becomes the main focal point instead of the people walking through it. So those are two changes I would have made in the time-lapse, and I think that just comes with more experience to get it right, so I'm going to keep practicing with that, and hopefully it gets better. So I also learned some things today doing the post-production for this video. One of them we already talked about, which was using the blur effect to replace our failed in-camera transition. But the other thing I wanted to work on was doing my own color grading and color correction using Lumetri Color. So for this video I made a custom Lumetri Color preset, and I focused on pumping up the blues and the reds and a little bit of the oranges so that we could have a good look for this type of exploring through the mall and parking lots and type of like cityscape indoor adventure vlog. This wouldn't be great for things like nature videos, but I think for anything that is in somewhat of an urban environment, this could be a good preset. I have included it for free. Just go into the description and you can download it and put it in your videos. So the clips you see here, we are going to start with the original, and then we're going to apply that preset, and you can see the difference. It really warms up the image, but it also boosts those reds, blues, and oranges to make everything a little more vibrant, a little more lifelike, and like we said, warm. Like, it really makes the mall seem a lot more cozy. So overall, this was a really fun experience, and I got to learn a lot while doing it. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button, and you can join me on a journey to become a better photographer and filmmaker. If you want to see me do another collaboration with Top Pops, make sure that you leave a comment saying to do it, both on my channel but also on his. I hope you enjoyed the video. Happy shooting.